Hello, I'm Steve Berry. Welcome to the preview of the Barron's Manor Park October sale. Yes, I'm wearing a jacket because it's not cold, but summer has gone. It's distinctly autumnal. Is it not, young person behind the camera? Yeah, he's wearing like a sort of fleecy thing, but, you know, I'm all about style. And so are many of the cars that we have in this sale, which is coming up this Saturday. You have to register to bid online, or better still, turn up in person at our Bijou premises here in Southampton. Let's start with something which for me is just a complete flashback. A 1987 Range Rover EFI in Caspian Blue. My first real job in the media. Notice how I didn't say career. It's a job. Did it for money. I worked for a bloke in magazine publishing, and he had three cars. He had a black BMW 750iL. He had a post box red, signal red, fire engine red, Aston Martin V8 Vantage, and he had one of these. He had a Range Rover in Caspian Blue, a 5-door like this one, with the fuel-injected version of the 3.5 litre V8, 4-speed automatic gearbox. But as much as he liked cars, he liked wine. And so guess who got to drive all those cars? The 24-year-old me, included one of these, which looked, I have to say, fairly incongruous sat outside a 2-bed terraced house in Bury, Lancashire. But what a great looking car it is. I mean, this really is the first evolution of the original spanking design of the classic Range Rover. And restoration versions of those cars go for big bucks now. We're not quite in the area of being able to swill it out after you've taken a couple of pigs to market, but you can still tell that it is a utility vehicle built to do a job. 4-wheel drive, 4-speed automatic, but the luxury is all here with the wood cappings. I was going to say the air conditioning. Let me check. Maybe not. I'll come back to you on that one. Of course, you've got a grab handle there because even if you are the hunting, shooting and fishing type rather than the farming type, you're still going to be going across rough ground. This is a proper off-road vehicle, but also a great on-the-road luxury vehicle. And they were brilliant tow cars. Let's pop round the back and see if there's a tow bar on it. There is. I thought there might be. I mean, my dad had a tow bar on his Chrysler Avenger so he could do a tip run. But when you put a tow bar on the back of one of these, it was probably so you could tow your boat, wasn't it? Or your race car. Obviously, this car from 1987, good grief, it's almost 40 years old, has had an extensive restoration. I will allow the camera person to show you the wonderfulness of this excellent restoration. There's not a ding, a scratch or a bump in the side. The wheels are immaculate, and we've got some really new, fresh tyres on this car. A lot of money. Proper tyres as well with the proper size sidewall. Look at that. And consequently, a fantastic ride. Not that great at really high motorway speed, but here's the top tip. Why not stick to the speed limit? You'll enjoy it, the ride's better, and your licence lasts longer. I can't believe the estimate on this. I'd look at this and estimate that a restoration like this would run to many tens of thousands of pounds. However, the estimate on this 1987 Range Rover EFI with the 3.5 V8 and 155 brake horsepower, Caspian Blue. Is it the best colour they ever did a Range Rover in? I think it is. The estimate is £10,000 to £12,000 in our auction, which I think I mentioned happens this coming Saturday from 1 p.m. at Barron's in Southport. Southport? There's a slip of the tongue. Typical northerner, eh? I thought, somewhere nice by the sea. Southport. Southampton. Don't go to Southport. Although a lot of my friends live there. And they love cars. And they love this one because I think this is nothing short of a design classic. Meticulously maintained, a true driver's car. This BMW, yeah, this is the one to have. If you're going to get an 8 Series, I really think they're coming into their own. The cameraman's a young person. Is this a cool car? Because I think it is. Can I get a nod? Yeah, I'm getting a nod. It is a cool car. I don't think it's just old giffers like me who think that this shape has aged really well. We've got the 4.4 litre M62 V8, a 5-speed automatic gearbox. It's a fabulous combination of, I think, Arctic silver or polar silver and a black leather interior. You cannot go wrong with silver on the outside, black on the inside. Fantastic. Full documentation. It's got minor age-related wear, which you'd expect because this car dates from 1998. It's a desirable, ready-to-enjoy example of the classic. Yes, it seems odd because it seems like 2 minutes ago that it was new, but it's not. That's just the way time works. It is a classic design. I love the fact that when you put the bonnet up, the headlights are flip-up headlights. I'm a child of the 70s. I love flip-up headlights. The estimate on this one, £12,000 to £14,000. For what? When it was new, it's done 90,000 miles since 1998. When it was new, it was a very expensive car. Come here and have a look at this. I don't even have to ask the cameraman if this is a cool car, because we all know that this is a cool car. It's a 2007 Shelby, Carroll Shelby. I never met him. He was a chicken farmer, wasn't he? And he won Le Mans for Aston Martin. And he went on to do all kinds of things. But he was a bit of a cad, wasn't he? Well, he wasn't a cad, because I think you've got to be British to be a cad. He was a bit of a hustler. He was a bit of a Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis's manager. He'd do anything to earn a buck. Nothing wrong with that, because he came from sort of very modest background. He put his name to anything. But with this, you know, I mean, come on, look at it. GT500 Shelby, upgraded with 800 brake horsepower at the crank. It was originally a US dealer display car until 2013, imported to the UK in 2019, extensive professional tuning, including a Ford Racing TVS supercharger, Kooks headers, Magnaflow exhaust, and a custom venomous tuning map. Fuel and drivetrain enhancements include 54-pound injectors, a Kane Bell, I'm going to say Kane, K-E-N-N-E, it's not a name that I'm familiar with, a Kane Bell dual boost pump, McLeod clutch, I know about them, because they're from the drag racing world, and a TR6060 6-speed manual with the Hurst short shifter, and it's got the old pool ball on top there, classic Hurst style, because that's what this car's all about. This is a car from the 21st century that echoes the classic muscle cars of the 60s. Eleanor replica stripes, it's got the lot. 56,000 miles on it. And here's the thing about this car that may not be immediately obvious to you. Are these 20-inch wheels? Let me check. Yeah, 20-inch wheels. Wow, look at them. They're not standard. Although it's mental. I mean, it's full on in every department. It's also practical, because have a look inside. You wouldn't think, would you? Have a look inside. You could get grown-ups on those back seats. I mean, the kids would love it. But, you know, it genuinely is. In Europe, when we said 2 + 2, what we meant was 2 human beings and 2 bags of shopping, or a Pomeranian and, like, you know, a hat. When the Americans said 2 + 2, they meant 4 people could get in it, and they could, because it's a big car. It's got a lot of road presence, and the estimate is ridiculously cheap, as it seems to be. It really is a buyer's market, but don't forget, you can't bid to buy unless you're registered. So register online, Barons Manor Park, the Manor Park website will get you to Barons Manor Park. Don't go to Southport, like I suggested earlier, unless you want to ride on the carousel and go in the floral gardens. If you're interested in the auction, come to Southampton instead, to Barons here. but register to bid before you rock up. My mate came to see me. He said, I'm just coming to see you, I'm not going to bid. I said, register. The second lot he was bidding, because that's the way it works, isn't it? So you're looking at this, 800 at the crank, that massive list of modifications. I'm telling you it's practical as well into the bargain. You're thinking, I'm interested, how much? £25,000 to £27,000 is the estimate in our sale this Saturday. Now, we've got a lad here called Lewis, and I'm tempted at this point to go, Lewis, and see if he appears. I must be busy, actually doing some work perhaps, maybe not. No, I meant Inspector Morse. It's all right. You see, he gets the joke. A Mark II Jag in red, and it's kind of Inspector Morse spec, because it's not Concours, it's in red. I like this. I like a car in this sort of usable condition, i.e., I don't want it so shabby that the cops are pulling me over because they think there's something wrong with it, but just usable, not too nice so that I'm scared to drive it. You won't be scared to drive this one. My granddad had one of these, John Moore. He taught pursuit driving. He was that good. And he liked Riley cars, Rudge motorcycles. He knew what he was talking about when it came to fast cars, although he said that the best police car he ever drove was a Triumph 2.5 PI, although the old petrol injection Triumph. He said it was very four-square and very neutral at speed, but he loved these as well, and this was his personal car, a Mark II Jag. This one is a 2.4 manual, rare, manual with overdrive. That interior wants cleaning, but I can't see nasty, horrible rips and tears and a load of wear, but it needs a clean. You know, bit of soapy water. Wouldn't do anybody any harm. Cameraman could have done with a bit of that this morning, but he must have been in a hurry. Just my little joke. So this one's running and driving when we tested it. It's got a Moss manual overdrive gearbox. It's showing signs of its age, it says here, and yes, it is. Some people call it patina. We're calling it signs of age. That exhaust looks very recent, I have to say, and stainless steel. The wood trim is in need of some restoration. Yeah, it needs a bit of love. It needs a bit of TLC, this car. But look how cheap it is. Do you remember how expensive these were at one point? Mark II Jags were going for crazy money. Not this one. And I love that. I wouldn't polish it too much. I like it like this. And you might as well. And if you do, £5,500 to £6,500 is our estimate. We've got a lot of documents with that one as well, by the way, so you can check its history. What's that from? Georgia? It's from Georgia. This car's been abroad. That's why it's in such good order. It hasn't been wintering here in Southampton or Southport up north. It's been wintering in Georgia. Yeah, State Patrol, Motor Vehicle Safety Inspection. But it's right-hand drive, which is great because, you know, you've got the benefit of it being somewhere that's nice and warm, deep South Georgia, isn't it? Nice and warm, not as rusty as it would be if it had been here, but not left-hand drive, right-hand drive. Oh, I do like these. I was just talking about that guy with the Range Rover over there. 3 cars. Range Rover in Caspian Blue, 5-door. Aston Martin V8 Vantage in fire engine red. What a car. But he also had a 750 IL with a V12. For me, that was the best of the 3. This isn't a 750, it's a 730 SE Auto. Now, before I even look at this, I'm going to look at 2 things, and then I'm going to look at the third thing, and I'm trying to guess where this car has spent its life since 1989. Wow, 1989. I am going to look at the window blinds and think, that's very Japanese. Maybe it was in Japan. And I'm going to look at the fact that it's right-hand drive and think, yeah, was this car built for Japan? But I'm going to look at the speedo and see if it's in kilometers or mph. mph. Plus, the Japanese love a sticker, don't they? If you ever see a car and you think, I wonder if this is from Japan. And the thing about cars, prestige cars and sports cars that have been re-imported built in Europe, sent to Japan. They're allowed to be there for 25 years, I think it is. Then they come back. There's always a sticker somewhere that'll go, and it's in Japanese. And you think, yeah, why would that be on a BMW or a Fiat or an Alfa Romeo or a Lotus? I can't find anything like that. And so I'm going to guess South Africa. Right-hand drive, blinds, hot country, a complete lack of any sort of body rot whatsoever. Look at those wheels. They are lovely. But this body hasn't got a ding, a scratch, a mark, any signs of rust on the arches or in all the places that you'd expect to find it. The paint is in fantastic condition. The interior is lovely. There is somewhere on that driver's seat. Is it big miles on this one? I'm going to be able to look. Oh no, it's digitalis, even though it's 1989. Those Germans, they weren't half advanced, weren't they? Was there anything as good as this in 1989? Was a Mercedes or a Jaguar as good as this era of the BMW 7 Series? I don't think so. Styling by Acoli Spada, I think. I think that was the time when Bruno Sacco and Acoli Spada, Italians, were styling German cars. The best idea anybody ever had. Who's going to make it? The Germans. Shall we style it? No. We're rubbish at that. Get the Italians in. Hence, beautiful car, elegant car, fantastic proportions. And this one is in superb condition. Stamp service book, 7 stamps from 1992 to 2015. It had a gearbox fluid and oil change in 2023. And under current ownership, it's had a new water pump. Oh, here we go. A new water pump, gearbox. It casually mentions that. A new water pump. Oh, a new gearbox. Imagine how expensive that was. Injectors, headliner. Yeah, the headliner. It's always the letdown on a car of this era, isn't it? It just comes unstuck. It's called gravity over the years. And the heat, of course. The heat. It's all very well being in a hot country where you don't get all rusty because it doesn't rain all the time like it does here. But the interior suffers, doesn't it? Dashes crack, headliners come unstuck. We've got an extra set of rims with new tyres, fully equipped, electric seats, everything works. Electric mirrors work, electric windows work, the electric sunroof works. Look at that. They never work. Not when they're this old. What is it now, 89? Dear God, it can't be. It can't be that long ago that this car was around. I remember driving around in one, and it was when I was married and had kids. It can't be that long ago. Oh, the price. Bargain. Total bargain. Register. Don't just watch this and then a week later go, I wonder how much that fantastic black BMW went, which had immaculate bodywork. I wonder how much that went for. And it had all that work done on it. Oh, I can't believe how cheap it went. I'm an idiot. Register to bid now. Or better still, come down on the day. We start Saturday, 1 p.m. sharp. Yeah, don't be late. You might miss this one. £5,500 to £6,500. The 1989 BMW 730i SE, special equipment, auto. Top of the, well, not top of the range. What am I talking about? 750 was the top of the range. But for a 730, which would, of course, have been the inline 6, not a V12, just such a great-looking car. I was talking about the 8 Series shape dating well. This shape, fantastic. Italians, they're very creative, aren't they? But if you want somebody to build a car, well, I was going to say the Germans, but the Japanese, really. Not also the Italian. I love Italian cars. I love British cars. In fact, I love British cars, and here's one of the British cars that I love the most. Look at it. 1947, just after the war. Can you believe that we could produce something as fantastic as this? And I think, well, yeah, we built the Spitfire and things like that, didn't we? So we were really good at engineering and building things. Plus, we were, you know, at the time, we were the people that were pioneering jet engine technology, weren't we? Jaguar had been working away during the war. They had plans. They knew that the war wouldn't last forever. And they also knew that if they were going to make money, they weren't going to make it in Britain. We were on our knees at the end of the war. We were the only ones who fought all the way through it. I won't get controversial now. We were right there at the start, right there at the end. The only people that were right there at the start, right there at the end, well, the Germans weren't, were they? It was the Japanese. Just us, the British. So, Jaguar, or SS as they'd previously been known, that wasn't a good name after the war, was it? Jaguar thought, what we should do, swallow sidecars, that's where the SS came from. We've got to sell them to the Americans. They've got to be flashy. It doesn't get much flashier than that, does it? So this is a car that spent some of its life in the US and some of its life in the UK, but has been fully restored. In the States, it underwent a $60,000 restoration. It then came back to the UK. It's right on drive, isn't it? Yeah, again, you're looking at a car, because people think, oh, well, was it made for the export market? It must be left on drive. Not necessarily. Depends how many you're making. I mean, switching the steering wheel to the other side, a lot of the time, it can't be done because there's like stuff in the way, or it's just too expensive and too difficult for a few cars. And here's the other thing, and I've spoken to Americans about this, and I've done it myself. I drove a left-hand drive Alfa around in the UK, and I preferred it being left-hand drive because people thought it was cool. Steering wheel's on the wrong side. Oh, yeah, it's a real Italian one. It's not like the ones that we get. Yeah. 60 grand spent on it in America. This one then came back to the UK, and the bloke who brought it back thought, not good enough. He then spent £50,000 putting right the stuff that he didn't think had been done to the standard that he expected. And what we've ended up with is a car which is probably better than it was when it was made in 1947. A one-of-a-kind vehicle. It won Best of Show and the People's Choice Award at a big car show it was entered in earlier this year. The car wasn't restored to be sold. It was restored to be loved and enjoyed by the chap that did it, whose family had owned one of these, an example of this car, a Mark IV 3.5 litre saloon like this, when he was a kid. So it was driven purely by nostalgia. However, due to personal circumstances, and of course this happens all the time, people say to me, how could they possibly sell it? Why would you do that? Well, life gets in the way, doesn't it? And that's what happens at auctions. Opportunities are presented. You can take on something. You might come here to Barron's thinking, I'm after a project. You want something that you can work on, you can improve, you can bring back to a usable, drivable, or even get it up to Concours condition if that's what you want to do. Or you might want a turnkey car. You might want perfection, something that doesn't need 1 pence spending on it and is just probably the best of its kind anywhere in the world. Well, that's this car. We reckon £45,000 to £55,000 for this beautiful, immaculate, perfect Jaguar Mark IV SS 3.5 litre saloon. What a car. Phenomenal. Oh, nearly. Bentley Continental GT. Right, I remember driving this when it was new, and I drove it from Manchester. The car was delivered to me. Don't know why. I was a bit past my sell-by date by then, and I thought, I'm still getting Bentley bringing cars around. Fantastic. They brought around one of these, and they'd said, you need to tell us where you're going, because what would this have been, 2004? Right, I'm going to say something now, which in the comments you can poo-poo. It was the early days of tracking cars having tracking devices put on them. You're going to say, oh, they had tracking devices way before that. 2004, I had one brought round, and they said, you've got to tell us where you're going. And I said, I'm going to Port Miriam. Now, do you know where that is? It's in Wales. And it was used for, that's right, The Prisoner with Patrick McGowan. We drove a Lotus 7 in the opening titles. The Village. I am not a number. I am a free man, I said, as I blazed down those Welsh roads. This is pre-20 mile an hour speed limit nonsense. To Port Miriam in a Bentley Continental GT like this one. And I thought, what a car. What a car. Well, this one's in absolutely tip-top condition. Moonbeam silver, in case you're thinking, that's a really nice colour. With Portland and beluga cream leather interior. Luxury with a capital G, what you've got in there. Supplied new by Broughton's of Cheltenham. It comes with original documentation and the service book showing 17 service stamps. I bet that wasn't cheap. The last one at 75,000 miles in 2022. Features of this car include beluga quilting. Come round and show the good people the beluga quilting. Oh, look at that. 21-inch wheels. They're in absolutely great condition as well. Look at those chrome wheels. They're a bit Beverly Hills. Do you know what I mean? I like them. They're flashy. Supported by a comprehensive history file and an MOT valid until September next year with no advisories, zero advisories, excellent condition. Oh, just think how much this was when it was new in 2004. Oh. It still looks amazing, $1 million. It's got the W12 on there. Fantastic. 10,000 to 11,000 pounds. Oh, the depreciation. You kind of imagine yourself in a position where you could own a car like that from new, don't you? But everyone underestimates how much money you actually need to buy one of these new, because you've got to be willing to put up with the fact that even in absolutely fantastic condition, with a full service, virtually full service history, with the 21-inch wheels and the beluga quilt, every extra, every box that you could tick, the chrome mirrors, the lot. After 20 years, somebody's going to snap it up for about 10 grand, which is criminal. There's no way that your neighbours would know you got that for 10 grand. If you told them you paid like 10 times that, they'd believe you, wouldn't they? Oh yeah, I got a new motor. Wow, did you win the... Do you know what I nearly said then? Did you win the pools? Showing me age. Do you know what the pools is? He doesn't know what the pools is. It was like the lottery before the lottery. It was the same thing, a hopeless dream. But some people did win, and what they do is they go and buy one of them new. But 20 years down the road, you could pick up a classic example. And that badge, it's unmatched, isn't it? For me, you can forget for your Ferraris and your Lamborghinis and all that carry on. That winged bee is the greatest badge, the greatest name in motoring. Bentley Motors, yeah. The greatest. 10,000 to 11,000 pounds, wow. Speaking of Bentleys, gently Bentley. Oh, look at this bad boy. If you kind of get down a bit, look how impressive the front of that car is. Wow. Drive history, it says here. Drive history, own elegance. I think I own elegance. Do you not think? No? Maybe not. No. 1964. Good year, that. It's an S3, Series 3. Of course, this is the time when the Rolls-Royce would have looked very similar, if not identical, apart from the winged bee there and a few little changes that were meant to show that the Bentley was actually a little bit more sporting. In truth, they were very similar at this time, the Rolls-Royce and the Bentley. This one has got the iconic quad headlights, as it says, lowered bonnet line, 6.2 litre, the legendary 6.2 litre aluminium V8 with a 4-speed automatic. Now, that's not so bad, 64, 4-speed automatic. Before that, I think they had a torque converter, which people sometimes call an automatic gearbox, but it's not. It's different. And I've driven them with a General Motors torque converter. They had to get the gearboxes off the Americans because European gearboxes couldn't handle the torque of that big V8. They're not nice. This has got a 4-speed automatic transmission, power steering and servo-assisted brakes. And I've driven a lot of miles in these big S3 Rolls-Royce and Bentleys. And let me tell you what they need. Servo-assisted brakes. This is 2 tons of British. This is like a stately home on wheels, this thing. Recently featured in a Netflix film, this one, set to release next February. The car comes with a recent MOT. It doesn't need one, but it's had one just to make sure that everything's tickety-boo. Numerous service invoices. The overall condition is good, though some micro blisters are visible on the paintwork. You'd have to look closely, though. A well-maintained example of a stately British classic. 21 to £24,000. The Bentley S3. I love this two-tone paintwork. And the colours are more Bentley than Rolls-Royce. They're a little bit too jolly for a Rolls. When you see an S3 Rolls like this from the mid-60s, it's usually sort of pewter and black or very dark, sombre colours. I think it looks better in these rather jollier shades. The interior's gorgeous. Look at these seats. They look like they've never been sat on. Fantastic. Yeah, a lot of miles I've done in these. Look how spindly the gear selector, the gear selector is for such a big car. It's slightly incongruous. And when you drive one of these at speed on the motorway, you realise why in old films they were always sawing away at the wheel, weren't they, while they were talking. Well, Cary Grant was talking to Audrey Hepburn. He'd be going, "You can't possibly believe that, darling." And he'd be sawing away at the wheel. You've got to do that to go in a straight line in a lot of these old cars because they're all worn out. But this one has been beautifully looked after. It drives great. We've got all kinds of invoices and bills for it. And it is, as my friend and colleague David Dickinson, aka the Duke, would say, I used to meet him in the voiceover studio in Stockport where all the voiceovers are done. Cheap as chips, he'd say. Cheap as chips. Do you know what he drove, the Duke? A Volkswagen Beetle convertible. It suited him, actually. I'm saying it like he's dead. I think he's still very much with us. Anyway, also very much with us, my old friend and colleague, Mr. Tiff Niddell. I think I told the story last time. We were staying in the Thistle Hotel at Brands Hatch, and the lady from behind reception came into the dining room and said, "Paging Tiffany Dell, Tiffany Dell." And he was annoyed. I thought he'd think it was funny. He didn't think it was funny. I bet he thought this was funny when he raced it. Isn't it a cute car? There aren't too many race cars that you look at and think, what a cute little car that is. This was raced by Tiff and Rob Huff, who's one of the big cheeses at Goodwood at the old Festival of Speed and the Revival. Rob's frequently there taking the plaudits. He seems to be in every race. If you watch the live feed, here's a top tip, right? I've been to Goodwood. I went to the first Festival of Speed, however many years ago it was, and I've been there umpteen times since. Watching the live feed on YouTube, mega. You can see everything. The commentary's great. The camera works great. I think Rob Huff was in every single race this year at Revival. Anyway, he raced this car along with Tiff. Austin A35, 1959 it's from. It's a bit Wallace and Gromit, isn't it? More cheese, Gromit! Yeah, I can do the accent. Because he's from Preston, Nick Park. Well, he didn't do the voice, did he? He animated it. Or Wallace and Gromit. It is very much kind of the shape of it, evocative of sort of, you know, tartan thermos flasks, wicker baskets with sandwiches and like cheese board and all that carry on. But it's a serious race car. Serious full-on race car, this thing. Prepared by Don Rawson Racing. It's got adjustable shocks, clean underside. We've got invoices documenting its regular upkeep. It comes with a 2024 HRDC Academy Race Passport, so it meets current historic race standards. This A35 is an ideal, as it says here, and you know, there's never been a true word on this iPad that I've read out loud that somebody else has written, but it says this: celebrity connections, proven track history, an ideal turnkey entry into historic motorsport at the cheapest price you will find. Historic motorsport's mega, however, people sometimes think it's a cheap way to do motorsport. It's not, but this could be for you because this car, we reckon, will go for between... I mean, a lot of people think historic motorsport is like Ferrari Daytonas, AC Cobras, low-light E-types. It can be that, but it can also be this. This is eligible. This would get you into all those exclusive locations. £9,000 to £11,000 for the 1959 Austin A35 race car. Estimates are estimates. They're just what we think it'll fetch on the day. They are not meant to be taken too seriously. Sometimes people go nuts on the day, pay way over the odds. Other times it's not quite so great. But the estimate is there to give you some idea, a ballpark figure, as they say. And don't forget there are fees and all sorts of other things. All the details that you need to know that I don't tell you because I can't remember them are available on our website. Manor Park, the Barons bit. Morris Minor. There's me going on. I met Wallace and Gromit. I love Minors. In fact, there's a connection from that car to this car because my old colleague, Tiffers Nidell from the Top Gear, he learnt to drive in one of these and he says it taught him how to do the old opposite lock because, you know, these things would soon run out of road holding on the old cross-ply tyres. Not that this one's got them, but it would have had when it was new, wouldn't it? And at which point, as the back end tried to come round and meet the front end, you'd be there with the oppo, wouldn't you, like that, thinking that you were Mike Hawthorne or John Surtees. He said, thinking of two racers from this period. 1956, this is before John Surtees. Split screen. Ah, yeah, look at that. That's what people like, isn't it? Because it's proper old school. Before they could get curved laminated glass. The split screen Minor with the 803cc overhead valve engine, a light restoration project. Yeah, somebody's had a go at doing it up in the past. We've had the car running by wiring direct to the coil. It ran well, but the fuel's stale. There's an electrical short circuit somewhere on the car. The gearbox and clutch both worked well. The brakes seemed okay. The interior's not too bad. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can have a look at that. No. Oh, here we go, yes. Hey, look at that. Yes, somebody's definitely recovered these seats, both front and rear. It's not bad at all. Look at the dash. They painted that as well. A project car that is being sold, but like we said, clutch, gearbox, brakes, all working. It fires up, but there's an electrical short somewhere, which you'd have to sort out. It's a project car, but not a project, if you will. Running, gearbox and engine okay. Brakes work, steering works, bodywork's in really good condition for a car from 1956. Yeah, nearly 70 years old. No reserve on that one. That will sell. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. Wow. The S-Type gets a bad rap because of the proportions. However, what happened was when the Mark II, like that red one over there that we saw earlier, arrived in America. Could you just come this way, camera person? The American type people that Jaguar very much wanted to buy the Mark II said, excuse me, British guys, we got a problem. They couldn't get the golf bags in the back. If you go at Mark II, has got great proportions, but it's got that sloping back and it's got a little boot. So Jaguar said, do you know what? You can have a car. Not only will you be able to get one golf bag in there, you'll be able to get two. It is what the Yanks call a double bagger. Although, if you're drinking in a bar, double bagger can also mean something else, which I'm not going to, do you know what I'm saying? Double bagger, two golf bags in the back of there on the S-Type. Look at the paint job on this. Gorgeous colour. Gorgeous colour. What is it, this? Opalescent silver blue. Oh, beautiful. And the white walls, skinny white walls, they suit it. And the wire wheels, wow. So it's a 3.4. It's had a restoration at some point, not recently, back in the day. Maybe in the 90s when the prices on these were going a bit nutso. Mechanically, the car is in fantastic condition. Everything works properly. It comes with all of the documentation that you'd expect to find, including a Jaguar Heritage Certificate, the original owner's manual, a service book, service policies for 2 owners, and a letter from Jaguar warranting the transfer of the warranty, guaranteeing that warranty transfer. The car was originally sold to somebody in Chelmsford. What a great looking car. I've got to stand back to take in all of its wonderfulness. I'm in love. £10,000 to £12,000. I think it looks better than a Mark II. There's something about the extended rear that kind of complements the front better than a Mark II. Sacrilege that, you're not allowed to say that. I drove one of these back in the day on the old Top Gears that had been built for the guy that ran Volvo. And it had all brand new late 90s running gear, but it looked like this, and it was one of the greatest cars I've ever driven. It was fantastic. This is original, but they're still great. Look at the interior. Just have a quick look at the interior, if you would, because it's gorgeous. Look at that. Elegance personified. Better than a Bentley for me. Better. How dare I say that? Not the whole package, but the interior of this Jag. It's almost a bench seat. Not quite, they are separate. Beautifully upholstered. The leather is gorgeous with the blue piping as well. Headline is immaculate. Can't believe that that car might sell for between £10,000 and £12,000, but you've got to be in it to win it. I like this. I think it's great. It's got this sticker on the side, and I think whoever buys it might take that off. Is it a sticker? Or is it, it's a sticker. They might take that off because it's a Morris A60 half-ton van. Now, that doesn't mean it weighs half a ton. That means it carries half a ton. Yeah, because some people, not you watching, you're knowledgeable. You're interested in this stuff. You're looking at it thinking, yeah, its payload is half a ton. We know. But some people, you know, they're not paying attention. Good job we are. 1972. Were they selling this in 1972? God, I don't know, I've seen old fashioned for 72. It's got a 50s look, hasn't it? Do you not think? It's like, you know, go grease lightning, you're burning up the quarter mile. It's got a proper 50s two-tone look, but it's from 1972. Finished in red and white, charming, it says here. Not wrong. It is a charming vehicle, isn't it? If a tradesman appeared in one of these, you wouldn't suspect him, would he? You wouldn't call the police, there's a strange man in a van. If this turned up, you'd say, what a lovely van. It must be a lovely person driving it. And then you'd rob their house. No! Finished in red and white. It's got a 1622cc engine based on the A55 Cambridge. It's got the high roofline of the Cambridge, which means there's a lot of room in the back. Well maintained over the years. It recently got a new radiator and the invoice is included. The van's interior is boarded out in the back. It's got leather trimming. The leather trimming, one of these. Bloody hell, there wouldn't have been that luxury when it was new in 1972. Hey, look at this and the quilting on the door. It's lovely. It's obviously been a working vehicle, but it's had a relatively easy working life. And somebody's repurposed it, I think, as like a sort of more usable version of like a Chevy or an American Ford van that you might go to something like the Hot Rod Hayride or the Trip Out or these sort of nostalgic American vehicle events. They're great. I can't go though. I can't have those big turn-ups on my jeans. Look at my jeans. They're not baggy enough either. I like a streamlined look because I might have to ride a motorcycle. I don't want everything flapping about. Enough about me. I love it. An extensive history file comes with this car. Photos, manuals, service records. It's got a modern radio, but the original one and the wing mirrors are included, i.e. the ones that will go there on the wings of the car. MOT exempt, it runs and drives well. It's fantastic. I've run a big full-sized American pickup, 1958 Ford Hank the Tank, my F-150 Stateside Ford pickup truck. It was a bit of a nightmare because it was so massive. This is much more usable, and if you're going for that look, I love it. You might disagree with me. You might think that's a very British look. I don't think it is. Look at all this bright work here on the front on a van. You wouldn't have had all that unless they were trying to say, hey, look at our van. Doesn't it look American? It does. Fantastic and affordable. £13,000 to £15,000. M3 Convertible 2002. M-Power Performance, Open Air Freedom. Does it get any better? The best of both worlds, surely. 2002, a well-presented M3, 3.2 litre S54, producing 2002, 340 horsepower. Whew, that was a lot in 2002. Got the SMG gearbox. It's black with matching black leather interior and carbon fibre trim. Very classy in there. Wow, there's hardly any... There's somewhere on the bolster on the driver's seat, but otherwise it's in very good order in there. Michelin Pilot Sport rear tyres, BMW toolkit in the boot. We've got the invoices, the MOTs, we've got the V5, a spare key, and the certificate for, in 2002, this had a tracker. Yeah, because this would have been a target, wouldn't it, in 2002 for the bad boys. Come on, an M3 Convertible. 340 brake horsepower. But here's the thing, 2002, I bet you'd get it on a classic policy. If you know an insurer, if you've already got a relationship with them, I'm not guaranteeing it, but it's worth giving it a try saying, buying an old BMW, I just want to use it on high days and holidays, which you probably would. But a very cheap way to insure a car, which at the time would have been, your insurer would have put the phone down on you and deleted you, put you on blocked trying to get insurance on one of these. What a car. Fantastic condition. It says it's, does it say it's black here? Because I think it's a very, very dark blue. Young camera person with young eyes, do you think it's a very, very dark blue? Yes, we do. But it does look black. Fabulous. Look at it. Wow, what a car. Speaking of what a car, the best looking car ever made, the Jaguar E Type. 1973, it's a late one. Series 3, imported from Arizona in 2014. I almost bought one of these, I said this last time. I've come across quite a few cars like this. I almost bought one in California that, like this, had a Chevy V8 fitted. They took out the troublesome, it wasn't the engine, it was the carburetors. The Americans, and these came later, this late, I'm sure they came with fuel injection. Please correct me, which would have been mechanical. Please correct me in the comments and say, no, Barry, the E-Type never had fuel injection. By that time, California, which was, and the States, a massive market for Jaguar, would have been having all sorts of clean air acts and stuff like that. And to get round that, you had to ditch the side draft Skinner unions and go with fuel injection. I'm not saying that that was this car, but that's what happened to a lot of Jags over there. They couldn't get through. I had a V12, what they call a Sovereign, what we call a Daimler 66. I had a V12 over there. I could not get it to pass the smog test. So they put a Chevy V8 in it. They knew how to get them through the smog test. So it's got a Chevrolet V8 instead of the straight six. The car is solid and rust-free. It's got great paintwork. The interior is fantastic. What a beautiful colour combination. Looks great inside. It's an auto, of course, with that Chevrolet V8 engine. We've got a Jaguar V12 engine included in the sale. If you want to put it back to how it was back in the day, we've got the engine sat on a pallet. It comes with a strong UK service history, this one, a recent carburettor replacement, a large file of invoices, and the original handbook, but not the original engine. But we've got a V12. Not the V12 that was in this car, if it did indeed have a V12 when it's new, our V12 Jaguar engine. And all of that's reflected in the price that this one is estimated at, £28,000 to £32,000. Have a think about how much E-Types was selling for 3-4 years ago. Then think about that estimate, 28 to 32. A beautiful car in great condition, very usable. Yes, left-hand drive, but easy to drive. Chevy V8 will give you no trouble. They run forever. They cannot be destroyed. They're like cockroaches and ants. After the nuclear holocaust, cockroaches, ants, and the Chevrolet V8 will still be there and still working. 28 to 32 grand on that one. Another BMW, Convertible. This one's a bit more of a boulevardier, not like a road burner like that M3. 1999, 329, or 328i, yeah. 329, I don't remember that one. Bit of a typo. I can't believe somebody's made a mistake. 328i convertible, one of the best. Velvet blue, this colour's called, a lot of them. It was a very popular colour at the time. Right, I'm going to say it. Do you know who had an M3 convertible, this colour? Ronnie O'Sullivan. Yes, Ronnie O'Sullivan. the mercurial super talent of world snooker. And the reason I know he had a BMW M3 Convertible in this colour is because he knocked over my Harley backing it up in London, yeah. Ronnie O'Sullivan. Didn't do any damage. Just scratched his car. Bit of a celebrity anecdote, just thought I'd throw it in. But in the 90s, I nearly said a swear then, this was the swear, wasn't it? 2.8 litre inline six, yeah, is that the best version of the six, the 2.8 injection? 200 horsepower, automatic transmission. Yeah, it's a Boulevardier. It's a full-size four-seater, this, with the top down. You and your significant other, man, woman, whatever, another two friends in the back, you're all set for a lovely day out, aren't you? Fantastic. In style. Car comes with a lot of service, MOTs, it's just had a new radiator fitted, it's an overall very good condition. Go round it, it's in great condition. Paint's really nice, I love it. It's blue, but it's got a lot of red in it, which is why they call it velvet blue. £5,000 to £6,000 for this car. Wow, fantastic. Now, when we start this, me and the camera person, who's a young man, walk around the room and I get his take on things. And I said, we've only worked together twice, but I thought, young man, into his motors. I bet he loves that. You love that, don't you? I mean, it's fantastic, isn't it? 2004 911 Carrera 2, two-wheel drive, one former keeper, smartly presented, fresh MOT, 97,000 miles from new, one former keeper, one owner car, and he did 97,000 miles in it. He must have liked it, or she must have liked it, he said, being careful to be a bit more 21st century and not stuck in the 90s. Dry stored since 2018, it's in good running order. Look at this carbon fibre roof. I don't know if it's real carbon fibre, but by heck, it looks lovely. It really goes well with this. What I'm assuming is a wrap. This would be a wrap, wouldn't it? Yeah, rather than paint. It looks great. The wheels, it all goes so well together. High quality exterior wrap. I could have just read what it says here, couldn't I? High quality exterior wrap, black alloy wheels, a modern look with an analog driving feel. Who writes this? He or she is spot on. You've got the look of a much more modern Porsche, but with the analog nature of a car from 20 years ago. The interior's fantastic. I love that colour. Absolutely fantastic. Very German, very Porsche. Yeah, and classy. This is nice. The service book shows 6 stamps, the last one at 95,000 miles in 2018. Valid MOTs until this time next year. Well preserved. One owner, an excellent opportunity to acquire this car. How much? It looks $1 million. If I told you £10,000 to £11,000, it's a lot of car, isn't it? When you look at it, it's not perfect, but you have to really, really look at it to find those imperfections. Most people just walk by it in the street and think, that looks fantastic. Who's in that? He's in that. Wow. He must be loaded. Love it. £10,000 to £11,000, the 2004 911 Carrera 2. Here we go. Was Onslow's car this colour? You don't know what I'm talking about, do you, young man? I'm talking about the much-loved British sitcom, Keeping Up Appearances, featuring Patricia Routledge, RIP. She's just died, although she lived to a grand old age, well into her 90s. She played Hyacinth Bouquet, or Hyacinth Bucket. And she had a brother-in-law called Onslow, and he had a Cortina in his front garden of his council house. Nothing wrong with that. Although, like most British sitcoms, it essentially was about class. They're all about class. And to say that Onslow was a great character. Jeffrey Ewins played him, and he had one of these, I'm sure. Put me right and go, it was a Mark IV, you idiot, or whatever. I'm sure he had one of these. 1972 Ford Cortina 2 Litre GXL, a 70s British motoring icon. How lucky were we, when I say we, the British, to get such a good looking car in 1972. 1972 was a great year for cars and motorbikes. It was like they sort of woke up and thought, I mean, in motorbikes, you've got the CB350 Super 4 Honda, the Harley Davidson Super Glide, the Norton Commando 850 with a combat motor, the really quick motor, which they abandoned because it kept going bang, but when it went, it went. 1972. And they thought, yeah, let's give the ordinary working man a fabulous looking car. And they weren't wrong, were they? We got this. Fantastic. They call it the Coke bottle design, don't they? Because it's got these flowing lines like a Coca-Cola bottle. A glass one, young person doing the camera work, not a placky one, a proper glass Coca-Cola bottle. You get them everywhere else in the world. Here, they try and give you a plastic bottle. I want glass. This is an analogue car. Look at it. Interior's fantastic. It's got a Pinto, obviously, 2 litre, inline 4, but it's got a 5-speed gearbox, which it wouldn't have had at the time. It would have been a 4-speed, and it's got electronic ignition. Very popular upgrades on this car. Electronic ignition, 5-speed gearbox, improved reliability and drivability. We've got the nodding dogs. Of course, there's only 3. One of them's gone. I'm sure there were 4. One of our nodding dogs is missing. If you find it, contact Manor Park, Barron's Manor Park. We found your nodding dog. Bring it along on the day and give it to me. I'll look after it. Vinyl roof. I love it. Wing mirrors on the wings of the car. The paint is pretty great overall. Comes up beautiful with the polish. Yeah, in places it's got micro blisters, but I just love it. They've not gone too far. I mean, these would be razzed round every sort of town in Britain with like big mad slot mag wheels on the back, cherry bomb exhausts, furry dice hanging from the wing mirror, and a sun strip that said Steve and Debbie or something like that, even if you haven't got a girlfriend. You just imagine your imaginary girlfriend, put her name on that side, because it's always easier. Here's a top tip to you, young camera person. It's always easier to get a girlfriend if you've already got one. So just pretend you've got one, like I used to. Right, it's in great condition. I've told you all that stuff. We've got an extensive history on it. We've got the V5, invoices, manuals, a characterful, collectible car, ready to be enjoyed. I tell you what, it does not photograph well. I've been looking at the photographs. In photographs, it looks amazing. In real life, as I say, it's not perfect, but by heck, it's good. 14 to 16,000 pounds, 72 Ford Cortina, 2000 GXL. Find another. Now, if I would say to you, get your skates on, mate, get your skates on, mate, the greatest British film of all time, as voted by the British public, were they in the gang, Charlie Croker's gang, were they in a Ford Thames van like this? Or was it a comma van? I can't remember. Tell me in the comments. That's what the comments are for on this video, for you lot to put me right. I love it. 1959, Ford Thames 400e. Well, it might have been a bit early for the Italian job. 10 years too early. It's a 400e, 1500 weight van. Do you know what that means, 1500 weight? Do you reckon you could lift 1500 weight, camera person? Do you know how heavy that is? No. Well, I'll tell you. 100 weight was the amount of weight that one man was believed to be able to lift. So in the docks here in Southampton, this is why I'm saying this, it's relevant. In the docks here in Southampton, the stevedores, the lads who worked on the docks, would put their billock into something, knowing that it would weigh up no more than 100 weight, so they didn't injure themselves. Because 100 weight was what a man was expected to be able to carry. This could carry 1500 weight in the back, which is why it's called a 1500 weight van. The paperwork is limited. It includes some manuals. We've got the MOT history. It had an MOT. A lot of people do this, don't they? Vehicles like this, which are obviously exempt from road tax and MOT, that might change. Put them through an MOT so you can find out if there's anything wrong with it. I mean, these folk who try and avoid an MOT because they think it might not pass. Well, do you know why it won't pass? Because it's in a dangerous condition. You're going to be driving it. You don't want to push the pedal and it just goes straight to the floor because something's rotten through. Put old cars in for MOTs. You find out some things that you don't necessarily want to know, but you need to know. It's a good idea. This one's had an MOT recently. We don't know too much about it. It's 66-year-old, this van. I love it. It's in great condition. The interior is very clean and tidy. Do you want to pop round? And there's a slidey window there. Look at that. The interior is great. Hello. Yeah, look at that. Oh, is it shut? Yeah, never mind. You can come around here and have a look. So the interior's in really good order. There is some cracking in the paint that shows up, but not from it. It's a van, for goodness sake. You know, how good do you expect the paint to be? It never would have been that fantastic. It looks lovely. It looks great. It's got so much character, this vehicle. And if you're in the market for something like this, you'll realise that although they made many of these vans, many of them, very few survive because they were working vehicles and they were run until they couldn't run anymore. And then they were thrown away. Not this one. It survives. 66 years on. It's in great order. We reckon £9,000 to £10,000 on the Ford Thames 1500 weight van. Behind you is an icon, British motoring. Not me, I'm in front of you. I'm talking about the Ford XR3i. It's got to be this colour as well. I think an RS should be white, all white. But the XR3i should be red. My pal Ruben, who might be watching this, hello mate, he's got one just like this and he loves it. He absolutely loves it. It's got the right wheels. These, are they 15? No, they're 14-inch wheels. 1990, wow, 1990. It's one of the last of the Mark IVs. Radiant red. I didn't know what this colour was called. I've said all XR3Is should be this colour. It's radiant red, you knew that, with the grey cloth interior. Yeah, very much of its era. Its era is really the 80s, even though this car was made in 1990. It's an 80s car, isn't it? Didn't Lady Di have one? I think hers was black. This one was supplied new by Radmores of Tavistock and comes with a stamped Ford service book, 9 dealer services right up until 2001. In 2021, significant work was completed. A skim cylinder head, new gasket, camshaft tappets, cam belt, all done underneath this lovely radiant red bonnet. And the odometer shows 36,000 miles, but it was replaced at 94,000 miles. So that's what the odometer's showing. That's not what the car's done. We tell you these things because, you know, we should. We want to represent the car properly. It's a lovely car. It really is. And again, I was talking about that Ford Thames van and saying there aren't many of them left around because they were running to the ground. These were running to the ground. The people who bought these absolutely hammered them, didn't they? Because you got a fantastic combination of a family car, full-size four-seater, get the little kids in the back and everything, and a convertible and a sports car. 3 cars in one. Family car, sports car, convertible, all in one. I'm trying to think of a car before the XR3i that did that, an affordable car that did that. So like I said, an icon, a significant car. And this one's lovely. There's some paint bubbling here and there, but it's generally in very good condition. The hood's good as well. The hood's great. Wheels are great. Good tyres on it. Interior is in grey cloth, showing a couple of signs of its age, but then so am I. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It really is very tidy. Nobody smoked in this either. Most XR3i drivers smoked. They smoked tabs, Benny Edges or Rothmans. It's a generalisation, but it also happens to be true. Look at that back seat. It really was a full-sized 4-seater car. You know, if you had a young family, think about what you'd have had if you had a young family 10 years before this. You wouldn't have had a convertible and you wouldn't have had a sports car. And that's what you got with the XR3i convertible. Fantastic. £4,500 to £5,500. They will not stay at that affordable price, I don't think. Because people will recognise this was a special car. There's a lot of these becoming available. And I'm glad, because they're great. 2000 Porsche Boxster S. That S is important. So it's got the 6-speed manual gearbox, which is what you want on one of these. It comes with an MOT until May next year, this one. No advisories. That's significant, isn't it? It's all very well saying it comes with a 12-month MOT, and then you look at the MOT history, which of course you will do, the same way that I would do if I was interested in the car, and you'll see a list of horrors. You will see no list of horrors on this one. The MOT was given with no advisories. It's got new Toyo tyres, performance tyres, a new radiator, brakes, a new hood. Wow, this is money spent on it, this car. We've got invoices totaling £6,000 for this 25-year-old car. Again, try it on Classic Insurance. Ring up a sympathetic Classic Insurance company and say, yeah, I've got my regular car, but I fancy the sports car, convertible, high days and holidays car. And it's not like you're driving something with no performance. This will keep up with modern traffic. Absolutely no problem. A great affordable, this is well written as well. Who does this? Somebody who knows what they're talking about. Not me. A great affordable entry into Porsche ownership, but not that you'd be kind of wearing the badge and not appreciating the car. The Boxster S, 6-speed gearbox, more power than the Boxster. This is the way in. This is the affordable way in. £4,500 to £5,000. Shouldn't every car have a wicker basket? What's in the wicker basket, Berry? I'll show you. Oh, no, I won't. No, because it's all strapped up. Nothing, I should imagine. No, I can't see anything. Oh, there's a tiny human. No! It's a lovely wicker basket. That's where you put your picnic, isn't it? Put your blanket, tartan thermos flask, perhaps a bottle of cordial, maybe Vimto, and some ham sandwiches and crisps. And then off you go, out into the countryside. The glorious British countryside for a picnic. That's what you do with this, isn't it? I mean, it's not a daily driver. 1936, known as the Baby Austin. A well-preserved original classic, 86,000 miles on this one. Wow, the interior is full of character. Yes, it's got some wear, but I think it looks great. Look at that seat there, wonderful. And then all these instructions here about what you're supposed to do, like making it sound difficult, even though it'd be extremely easy to drive. It's not that diddy. They say the Baby Austin. Let me get in. Right, well, it's dead easy to get in and out of, and I've got like loads of headroom, and I'm 5'10" on a good day. I'm 5'10" on a bad day as well, but you know. Lovely patina, it says here. Not wrong. Well-maintained paintwork. We've got a history file with MOT's invoices, and we've got the current V5. It's a lovely thing with its 750cc engine, the engine that kick-started British motor racing and led to us dominating Formula One. Yeah, it all started with this engine. 750 Motor Club and all that carry on. £4,500 to £5,500, the 1936 Austin 7 Ruby. A lovely, lovely thing. You do get that registration as well. It's the original registration number, CHU113. It's kept it all its life and you get it with the car. £4,500 to £5,500. If it was Italian or German, they would be paying a lot of money for this significant example of their motoring history. But because we're British, we don't pay too much attention, but that means you could get it on the cheap. £4,500 to £5,500. Another red Porsche. Not a bad thing. Look at this one. I like it in red. Red with black interior. Come on. Oh, and it's sporty red on the inside. Another Boxster S. Yeah, we don't, you know, no rubbish here at Barron's. Well-maintained mid-engine roadster, manual transmission, 70,000 miles on it. The 6-speed gearbox that I keep banging on about and a bit more power. It just makes it a nicer car to drive and to own, and it makes it more exciting to own. The interior is in great condition, very little wear here on the seats. It's only done 70,000 miles from new. We've got a full service history with this one, 12 stamps. Wow, this one's got the lot. Full service history, 12 stamps, recent maintenance in February 2025. There's very little, there are very few problems with the paintwork. The wheels are in great condition. Pirelli P0 tyres. Top of the range, top of the tree. Lovely. 4.5 to 5,000 pounds. A lot of car. A lot of car. What we reckon this Saturday, 1 p.m. we start. Register to bid at Manor Park. Find our website, get on there, register to bid. Like my mate, I told him, register. He said, I'm not bidding. The last thing I need is another car or another motorcycle. He was bidding on the second lot. His arm was going up. I was like, what the heck? You'll come down here and you'll go, hold on a minute. That Porsche is really nice. 70,000 miles from you, full service history. You reckon it's going to go for about 5 grand? That's nothing. You're right, it is nothing. It's a buyer's market, but you can't buy it unless you register. These make great camera cars. Ask me how I know. Because my pal's got one. I said to him, you know your Hillman Minx convertible? They do. I'll tell you why. If you just come round. Because if you've got a cameraman, you can get a cameraman and a sound person, like somebody holding a boom mic, and the camera, and they can move around and they can get you from here and they can get you from... A brilliant camera car, but also, again, look at this, pillarless. It's quite elegant, isn't it? And again, bench seat, is it column shift? No, floor shift. Very American in terms of the styling and the specification, but kind of like a scaled down version of a Pontiac or a Chevrolet or an Oldsmobile or a Buick. I could name more American car marques that don't exist anymore, but I think I'll stop there. 1960, classic style, honest charm. Yeah, so you get kind of, it's 1960, it was pre the Beatles, so it was at that time when all of sort of youth culture and pop culture was Hollywood and rock and roll. We look to America. 1960, Tony Curtis, Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, Bill Haley and his Comets. Not the Comets. People always get that wrong. Not me. His Comets. We look to America for style, and that's why they made this car look like this. This car was made for Brits. It wasn't made for the US market. But they made it look like a Chevy, because every song in the charts and every movie at the pictures, my parents, when they were courting in the early 60s, they said they'd go to the cinema 3 or 4 times a week. It was American, Hollywood style, and that's what this car has got, but kind of shrunk right down. This specific car has got a red leather interior. It is leather, yeah. You'd think it might be vinyl. No, it's leather, I think. Powered by a 1500cc 4-cylinder engine, 4-speed manual. We've got the original chrome bumpers, the grille, the wing mirrors, the badges, and we've got an Pioneer speaker. I'm not sure why we're making a feature of that, but we have got a Pioneer speaker from about 1982, sat down there so you could listen to some music while you're rocking along. Recent work includes welding underneath, no surprise to anyone. It's been around for 65 years now. A resealed rear axle, new brake shoes and calipers, new brake and clutch cylinders. Yeah, my pal's car's like that. It's had a lot of mechanical work on it and he continues to work on it. But it's not really of a price or of a value where you can spend, unless you had super sentimental reasons for it, too much money on the exterior and the upkeep. Why not keep it like this? Why not keep it looking like it's a much loved car that happens to be 65 years old, but making sure all the mechanicals are present and correct, because, well, you don't want anything nasty to happen, do you? And that's what's been done here. New brakes, new clutch cylinder, all new rubbers, been converted to unleaded. There was a new hood fitted in 2017, and the interior is in great condition. £4,000 to £6,000 for a family-sized, full 4- or 5-seater convertible, British made, £4,000 to £6,000. Where would you get that anywhere else? You wouldn't. A Volkswagen Beetle. It was never called a Beetle by Volkswagen. Well, it wasn't called a Beetle at first. It was called the Volkswagen. You knew that, didn't you? I bet you tell people that in pubs. I think it's been hand-painted with airbrush. My dad used to do that. People used to bring around cars. My dad, they call it a side hustle now, don't they? He used to like do mechanical work for people. He'd swap engines in the street. With this, most cars, like Minors, he'd get one from the scrapyard that ran but was rusty, and then somebody had one that wasn't rusty but didn't run, and my dad would just hoist the engine out of one and put it in the other in an evening, like in the summer. Yeah, bring it round on Wednesday. And people, get this, people think I had a Victorian childhood. People would push the car, they'd get their neighbours. Remember when this happened? People would ask their neighbours to help them push the car around to us, and about like 7 or 8 people be pushing a Morris Minor, and my dad had switched the engine. As I say, I think it might have been, no, I think I'm wrong. It's just that the paint isn't that great. It looks okay, but it's reacted to something. But it's all there, and this is a very solid Beetle. 1300cc, it's from 1966. It's solid, that's what it says here. It is a solid car. I wonder if this paint can be kind of corrected. I don't know if it could. It doesn't look that terrible. Mechanical work completed in 2025 includes, get this, front brake disc conversion, new suspension arms and spindles, new carburetor, timing tune-up, full brake overhaul, new gearbox oil, hub seals, front shocks, undersealing and other work. £2,500 worth of work recently on the mechanicals. Let's have a look inside. I bet it looks like a Volkswagen Beetle inside. It does! Hey, look at that steering wheel. Like the white steering wheel. Is that the crest of the city of Wolfsburg? I think it is. Put me right in the comments if that's not the crest of the city of Wolfsburg. I think you'll find, Berry, that you are once again wrong. Fantastic. I do like a Beetle. I've never owned one. I've owned 2 Carman Gears, which is like a Beetle in a party frock, really, isn't it? But never a Beetle. We've got a limited history. We have the V5. It's registered as historic and appears, it does appear sound. It says, no, it is sound. Look, it's in great condition. And this paint job that's gone wrong a bit is letting it down. If you move around, you'll see it's just a very straight car. It's not crispy. It's solid. Bumpers are in great condition. I watched a film with a car chase in it, and it was 2 Beetles. And it wasn't Herbie. It was a serious black and white sort of German expressionist neo-art house type thing. You know, all those things with subtitles that you take a posh girl to try and impress her. Do you remember that? Yeah, and there was a chase with 2 Beetles. It was one of the slowest car chases I've ever seen. But the cops in East Germany had Beetles. When I started going to East Germany back in the day, they had Beetles, and they had to chase people in Beetles. Great car, beautiful shape, classic. You know, we sell classic cars and they don't come more classic ever than a VW Beetle. I think that's going to be a bargain. I think the dodgy paint was going to put people off. They're not going to see what a solid car that is, what a genuine car that is. We estimate £4,000 to £6,000 for what it says here, a time machine back to the 60s, which is what that is. £4,000 to £6,000, wow, for a 1966 Beetle. We're filming this on the 8th of October. And today, Mazda have announced that the MX-5, like this one, this Mark III, 3rd generation, has become officially the most raced production car of all time. That's right, more than the 57 Chevy, more than a Mini, more than an Escort. The MX-5 has been entered, they've worked out, into more races than any production car in history. And rightly so. Because what car has ever promised and delivered so much affordable fun? We devised the formula, the British, the Japanese perfected it perhaps with this car. And this one is a rare car. It's a 3rd gen from 2005. Only 300 of these limited edition ones were made. Limited edition, you say, Berry? Yes, you got 17-inch alloys, which look pretty hot roddy, don't they? They look pretty cool. I like them. And you got a plaque inside there on the centre console to tell you it was a limited edition. And you got this fancy leather interior and a couple of other doodads and whatnots. 6-speed gearbox on this one. The car does have some imperfections. It's had a life. If you look round it, there are nicks, there are scratches, there are chips in the paint, especially on the front, stone chips from being driven 90,000 miles. So you could deal with that yourself. It's got an MOT until this time next year. There were some advisories on corrosion and suspension wear, and you should be aware that this car was subject to a Cat D insurance loss in 2007, but was deemed repairable. It's in very good usable condition. It's a great example of the world's most raced production car. Today, that announcement was made. How appropriate. You could put yourself in this one, we reckon, for between £6,000 and £8,000, the Mazda MX-5. Come over here and have a look at this. Now, this looks like a 1990 TVR Series 3 and would have had, I think, either a clone V6 Ford 3-litre motor or a 3.5 Rover V8. However, this one, which had the 3-litre V6 when it was new in 1990 and it trundled out of the old Bush garage in Blackpool, TVR, I love them. It had the clone 3-litre. It's not got that any longer. Instead, it's got another Ford V6, but it's the 24-valve job that Cosworth breathed on that was in the unloved Scorpio. Do you remember the Scorpio? That thing that looked like it lived at the bottom of the ocean and somebody stuck a... Yeah, that one. The one that looked surprised, the Ford Scorpio. This has got that motor, but that motor hasn't been left alone. It has been breathed upon. And the Don down here, Tony, he just fired this thing up. Let me tell you, it sounded glorious. Absolutely glorious. It's got about 250 brake horsepower, but we've got a programmable ECU with it to replace the one that it's fitted with at the moment. And we're having a chat about it, and we reckon 250, 275 is definitely achievable from this car. And it's had, it's got the tyres, it's got brand new Toyo Proxys on it. It's got an Emerald ECU, as I've just said. These are 17-inch alloy wheels, which are bigger than the ones it would have had on it. We've just spent £1,000. When I say we, the guy that's selling it has just spent £1,000 on all kinds of stuff, ECU tuning, spark plugs, lines, pipes, all that sort of stuff. The paintwork does show micro blisters. It was painted in an old bus garage in Blackpool. They weren't that bothered about how it looked. They just wanted to go very fast and like burn rubber. Awesome. Do you know what this is? Right, I'm blabbing on. I'll tell you what this is. This is a cheap Cobra. That's what you're getting here. A poor man's AC Cobra. You're getting a British-built, rear-wheel drive, 2-seater sports car with classic open-top looks, tyre smoking performance for a bargain price, £6,000 to £8,000. Don't buy a Cobra replica that's not a Cobra. Buy a real TVR that had a V6 Ford engine when it was new, that's got another V6 Ford engine in it now, and smokes and sounds, buy it for the sound. I wish I could fire it up now, I can't. I wish I could fire it up now and let you hear it. It sounds magnificent. £6,000 to £8,000, the 1990 TVR S3. Now, the SL, I had the 4-door. Mine, same era as this. This is a 1983. Mine was this colour. This colour, Clarkson's Grosser. Do you remember when my old friend, colleague, and the human brand that is Sir Jeremy Clarkson, how long can it be before that becomes official? Not long, I don't think. All this colour, fantastic colour. My 350 SE, the saloon, was on the front cover of Mercedes Enthusiast magazine. Yeah, the only car I've ever owned that's ended up on the front cover of a magazine. Along with my pal Tony's 280. If you remember, the 280 had the straight six. This is the 116 series. Mine had the 3.5 V8. That was the smallest V8. This is the big one, the 500. The car's in overall good condition. It's got a good roof. The paint has some blemishes. It needs correction. I don't think it needs redoing by any stretch of the imagination. It's better, it's as good or better than mine. And as I think I mentioned, mine was on the front cover of Mercedes Enthusiast magazine. This is all very familiar to me, this wheel, the auto changer, just plain elegant. Look at that, we've got an original Blaupunkt Boston radio cassette player. In fact, I don't think that's a radio cassette player. I think it just plays, oh no, it is. It's got MLFM. Yeah, a Blaupunkt radio cassette player. Not original, that's a bit later on, obviously, but damned expensive, those things. Especially if you cross-check and see whether they put those in Porsches. If they put that in Porsche in period, you can get a lot of money for them. 5 litre, passes everything except a fuel station, obviously. Elegance personified. The 1983 Mercedes 500 SL Auto. 1983 doesn't come with a hard top, but 83 doesn't need an MOT or tax, does it? Because it's more than 40 years old. But anyway, the tax has run out, unfortunately. Do you know what? Here's the thing. My car had the same tax disc holder. My car, that was the 4-door version of this, from the same era, same series, and had a V8, but the 3.5, I had a Peter Best Insurance Services Limited car tax disc holder on mine. Mine was starting to go down here. This one isn't. And of course, most of these have a chrome trim piece put on there. I won't say what people call them in the trade because it's offensive to about 75% of the population. But you all know what they call those, which would of course hide the fact that this was terribly rotten. Not so here, in great condition. There are a few minor, the bumpers can and do go, especially where they're connected or there's a sort of a screw going through them. Not this one. They will never build cars like this again because it was too expensive. They wanted to make a profit. These were made without any consideration of making a profit. They just said, we want to make the best car in the world. And then they went, damn it, it costs too much to do that. And they rationalised the production process. 14 to 16,000 pounds. Now the MX-5 there that we were talking about, the most raced production car in history as of today, was directly inspired by cars like this that we made in the 1950s. This is one of those cars we made for Americans, the 1952 MGTD, and we sent it over to the United States in big numbers, which is why your steering wheel is on that side. It's a lovely combination of sort of a, I don't know, what would you call that colour? Cornish clotted cream? It's a clotted cream colour with a lovely bottle green interior. However, the paintwork has reacted all over. There are micro blisters all over the place. You might know a way to deal with that if you're a paint specialist. If you know what you're doing with that, you might know how to deal with that problem cheaply and quickly. In that case, get it bought because it's a Mark II Competition Works model, left-hand drive, 5-speed gearbox. Oh, right, so it wasn't sent to the States. It was sent to the Netherlands, the Low Countries, yes. And it changed hands. It was first in Holland, then in Belgium, back to the UK where it's had one UK owner. It's got a 2009 full engine rebuild on the car when it had a new hood and side screens. Yes, you can tell that's new. It's got factory performance upgrades because it's a Mark II and because it's a competition model. So it's got a tuned engine with twin fuel pumps, Andrex dampers. They're more absorbent. That's just a joke. I'm sure that Andrex dampers are very valuable, but they're not made out of tissue paper, just in case you were wondering. It's got a higher ratio rear axle. They only made 1,700 of these Mark IIs out of the 30-odd thousand TDs that they made. They only made 1,700 Mark IIs. It's a seldom seen collector's car with a big paint problem, which some people aren't going to be able to see past. Like I said, relatively inexpensive to fix. If you can find a way to fix that and perhaps keep it, because it's a great colour, and in parts the paint is where it hasn't reacted is great. A lovely car, a beautiful car in great condition, and one of the best examples of this particular model, the MGTD, 10 to 12,000 pounds on the 1952 Mark II works competition model with the dodgy paint, which you might be thinking, I know what to do with that. I know exactly. Just get the old what's it on it and this, that, and the... You might know. If you do, get it bought. Another MX-5, but an older example, 2000 this one's from, 1.8 litre twin cam engine, 140 brake horsepower, and a 5-speed manual gearbox and rear wheel drive. What a great combination. What a good idea this car was. It brought the kind of, well, it was like a Lotus Elan, wasn't it? Except more reliable, more practical, more of a daily driver, but with the same kind of rewarding feedback to the person who wants a driver's car. They don't want to drive a boring econo box. They want something reliable, something practical, but they want it to be interesting and exciting. And that's exactly what this car was in the year 2000. This one's dark green with a black hood and a grey cloth interior, which is in not bad order. The driver's seat could do with a bit of attention. The bolster, the hood's good though. The hood's very good. I'm pretty sure that's been replaced at some point. It's got a Pioneer radio. This was imported new from Belgium. Imported new from Belgium. I've never heard that before. But, you know, that's one of the reasons I come down here to Barron's, because I'm learning all the time. It's got a service book containing English service stamps plus invoices. Right, was this in the year 2000 one of those things where maybe there weren't any cars left in the UK? This was a very big selling car here in the UK, more so than almost any other export market, apart from the States, obviously. They lap these things up, where the car was called the Miata, but then, of course, you knew that. And in Japan, where it was called the Unos. Yeah, but you knew that already. We've got MOT certificates and a V5. This car, it's not perfect. It's 25 years old. Good grief. No reserve. Grab yourself a bargain. Great car to drive. If you want a daily, but you don't want it to be a boring daily, you want something affordable, something that's cheap to run, but is also fun. There aren't too many cars that give you all that. There you go. The 2000 Mazda Unos Miata, or as we call it, the MX-5. Let's go outside, as George Michael said, but let's leave it at that. Let's go outside and look at a 2008 Land Rover Range Rover. Right, there are 3 Range Rovers here, but one of them is the one that I came here in. So it's not that one. We're not selling that one because I've got to go away in it. It's this one. Are they going to keep making that noise? I think they might. Right. There are some lads in the background doing some work that's probably going to be very noisy. And I think as soon as you see that I'm talking to you, they'll start making even more noise. Let's just ignore them. Let them do their work. I'm doing my work. This is work, believe it or not. 2008 Land Rover Range Rover TDVI power, luxury and capability. Wait till you hear how cheap it is. Have a look at it. Look at that. Look down the sides. Look at the bonnet. Away all the wear marks and the stone chips from a high mileage car that spent the last 18 years on the motorway. Not there. What condition are the wheels in? Very good condition. Even the wheel arch liners, they're in good condition. Are the mirrors all knackered? Has it done super duper big miles? Is that why it's cheap? No. Let's have a look inside if we can. I tell you what, you come this way and then you open I think the door's open, and then you can show the good people the inside. That is Oxford leather. It's in very good condition with only minor wear. It's done 126,000 miles. Look at the interior. It's even better than the exterior, which is in great condition. The paint's fantastic. I can't find anything wrong with it. Oh, here we go. No. That's just dirt. I can find something wrong with it. It needs cleaning. It needs good old clean. The inside's lovely. This is a well-equipped car. It's got cruise control, rear parking sensors, an infotainment screen, as you can see in there, stability control, and it's got the expensive 19-inch alloy wheels. The paintwork is lovely. Some rust is noted at the rear arches beneath the doors. I can't. Where? Okay, that's plastic, obviously. But, you know, we're telling you, we've noticed that. I can't see it. But I'm not getting down on my hands and knees and scrambling about. It'd be undignified. 4 to 5 grand. Wow. Let's go back in a time machine to 2008 when the person is signing the piece of paper. Right, okay, just sign there. Hold on. 126,000 miles. Put a plate on it, get it detailed, it'd look like $1 million, that car. And it'd drive like it as well. Fresh MOT, strong maintenance record, 12 service stamps. Ignore the mileage, 126,000. Look at the condition, look at the specification, look what you're getting. What a car. It's like it says here, it drives smoothly and powerfully and delivers refined long distance capability. King of the road in that. For peasant prices. Peasant prices. 2004 Land Rover Range Rover Vogue TD6. Ah, this is the one, isn't it? TD6 Auto. Luxury presence and usability in one affordable package. A well-preserved L322. Do we say L322 or L322 or L322? It's the same, it's just a combination of letters and numbers, isn't it? But what it is a TD6 Auto. So we got classic design with luxury and practicality. Is this the BMW engine? In the comments. 2004. Is it? The diesel engine. It drives well. It's got a tan leather interior. It has. It's lovely, the interior on this one. Look at that. Oof, come on. Ah, but it's locked. I think that side's open, so you might be able to let folk have a look. There you go. As we say, tan leather interior, the Harman Kardon high-end Logic 7 sound system, touchscreen satellite navigation in 2004. Wow. And rear parking sensors. The exterior paintwork is in great condition, true. Although there's a slight rust hole in the right rear arch, which I don't think we can show you, but we've noticed it, so I'm telling you, there is. It is great. The paint's fantastic. Very contemporary. It's the sort of, that light blue one, that's kind of its time, but this dark green with the tan leather, it's just classic. It never ages. This colour, dark green with tan leather, never ages, especially on a British vehicle. It's very British, isn't it? The Vogue offers a solid example of this, bearing desirable features. It does. The Vogue was high-end up the Range Rover scale, wasn't it? And it's ready for its next owner. And, get this car, this much luxury for 5 people, on the road, great paint, you know, great diesel engine, no reserve. It sells for what it sells for. That's what we do here at Manor Park. We bring you great vehicles at proper prices. BMW 328 Sport Auto. What colour are we calling this? I would say cerise. Red? Pink? Cerise. That's what I'm saying. A rare chance to own an E36 3 Series hatchback with the smooth, I said this before earlier, 2.8 version of the straight 6 engine and an automatic gearbox on this one. It's locked, so we can't show you the interior except through the window. It appears to be very presentable and very tidy in there without too much wear at all. People who bought these looked after them. The history includes MOTs, service invoices. Yeah, it's not like an M3 or something like that. It's an auto. It's got the 2.8. It's a luxury leather interior. I bet it's got aircon and all that sort of thing. This was not a boy racer car. It was an expensive motor car. Do you know what this was? It was an executive motor car. You know when they say executive and you think, what does that actually mean? If it was like a briefcase or a hotel room, what does executive mean? It means classy. I think you're about to get run over, cameraman. Please don't get run over. Then I'd have to get another cameraman. Oh, he's turning around. We've got all the MOT's service invoices from 2000 to 2003. Recent air conditioning service. I knew it'd have aircon. A car like that just would have aircon, wouldn't it? Of course it would. The exterior presents well, but has minor scratches. Where are they? I can't see them. Where are these minor scratches? It says M there, but it doesn't really mean it. It kind of means it. Look at those wheels. Are they proper split rims? Right, if they are, if you ever restore these, don't. Just clean them. Because if they are genuine split rims and you've got to undo all of those, I've done it on BBS split rims. Nightmare. I thought the job would never end. Just give them a clean. Leave them like that, trust me. The car drives smoothly and was driven to the auction. A great example of a modern, popular classic with 2 free books on the back shelf. Look at this. This is just a well looked after original car. So we're what? We're nearly 30 years away. There's the original dealer sticker. Altwood of Slough. And then it's got Altwood Slough and then it's the number. Slough 78181. BMW dealers, the original sticker. Everything original. Everything. Oh, it's got a M spoiler on the back there. 130,000 miles. 2 free books. I think one's the Bible. That's a good sign, isn't it? You know, a person of God. They wouldn't like really be ragging it rotten, would they? They only drove it to church. It's in great nick. No reserve. No reserve. Best news with it. 130,000 miles from new. Look at this. I was having a look at this earlier. I thought, I like that. How old is this car, do you reckon? 12 years old? 15 years old? No, this car is 21 years old. Yeah, look at it. And these, they're dailies, aren't they? Yes, it's a convertible. Yes, it's kind of a sports car. It's a sporty car rather than a sports car, isn't it? But they're dailies. And so most of them, by the time they get to this age, they're not great, are they? But look at this one. Have a good look round it. Look at the paintwork. Look at this. Look how tidy it is. Look at the wheels. It's locked. Great hood. Great wheels. Very recent tyres on there. This is a 1.6 5-speed manual petrol with a first generation style, comfort and fun driving appeal. Key features include sat-nav, parking sensors, chrome exterior pack and traction control, all of which are fully functional. This car has a brand new MOT running through till this time next year with minor advisories related to the brake pipes and the windscreen. It recently had an inspection 2 service, including a new power steering pump. It comes with 2 keys, a full service history and the original documentation. It presents well with minor scratches, a low mileage, 39,000, yeah. Most of these have done way, way, way more miles. 39,000, this was a fun car. Most of these are dailies, this was a fun car. 39,000 miles in 21 years. A 1 owner, low mileage, classic Mini. Not a classic Mini, it says classic Mini. Well, it is classic, it's 21 years old. When people say the classic Mini, I think they mean the Isigonis Mini from the 60s. But it is a classic. You could get it on classic insurance, it's over 20 years old. You won't find many, you'll find a lot of these for sale. You won't find many like this. £4,000 to £6,000. I think these are really elegant and I really think they're coming into their own. This is a classic design. This is pre the Ian Callum XK. I think this was Jeff Lawson was the stylist on this. And boy, what a good job he did. Because this shape has aged so well. This car is smaller than I expect it to be. In my imagination, it's a big, long car. It's not, it's quite compact. And yet it has an incredibly sort of elongated, elegant design. I'd be tempted, you know, to get rid of that and put the plate, you know, like an old Lotus, the way you used to do it on a Lotus. They'd have it there and round the badge. I don't know if that's legal, but I come from Manchester, where you regularly see Porsches, Lambos and Ferraris smoking about with no front number plate of any description. Football players, yeah, football players. This wasn't a football player, this was a member of the Jaguar Enthusiast Club. We've got a sticker there, and we've got the information here that the gentleman, I would imagine it was a gentleman, was the owner. The owner was a member of the Enthusiast Club. And this is a Silverstone edition, so you get some special stuff. It's in such good nick. He looked after it, or she looked after it. Great paint, a well-maintained interior. It was driven here from South Wales with no issues whatsoever. It's got a strong maintenance history, as you'd expect. 11 service stamps right up to 2020. Regular oil and filter changes as frequently as earlier this year. And a file of invoices and original care going back over the last 5 or 6 years. It's supplied with the original manuals. This XK8 is refined, powerful and comfortable with Silverstone-inspired styling. As I remember, it had different wheels, the Silverstone. It had slightly bigger. What size are these? Look at that, you got the Pirelli P0s on here. You're living large. Marvellous. 22.5, 18s. You got the 18s on the Silverstone. A great combination of this light silver and a dark silver coloured interior. Future classic, no reserve. BMW X1, 2012. A popular small SUV. For some reason, I want to put my foot up on there, but I can't do it. These trousers are too tight. First generation 2012 X1 presented in Valencia orange with a cream leather interior with the kind of orange stripes. Very stylish, very sweet. Powered by a 2-litre diesel engine with a 6-speed manual gearbox, so damn it, it's going to be affordable, economical for an SUV. It's covered 131,000 miles with one owner. Paint's good. Complete BMW service history from 2012 to 2021 and a new MOT valid until August 2026. Somebody's firing up a Harley with its distinctive potato exhaust sound caused by its offset crank pin, just so you know. I think he's warming it up. Climate control, auto lights, front and rear parking sensors, not on the Harley, on this, on the BMW. Stop start, heated seats, multifunction steering wheel. It's from 2012, but it's from 2020-2012. What, in the far distant future? No, it's from 2012, just 13 years ago. But it's got everything that a brand new car has. Front and rear parking sensors, stop start, heated seats, multifunction steering wheel, climate control, auto lights. You know, there's a limit to what they can put on cars, isn't there? Without it getting really silly. So this has got everything you'd want. It's manual, it's diesel, it's going to be affordable to run, affordable to own for a BMW SUV. It starts easily and drives well. We haven't got the V5, but that can be applied for on the buyer's behalf. And like I say, it's done 131,000 miles from new, £4,000 to £6,000. Looks like a lot more car than that to me. Blimey! I can't remember the last time I saw one of these. A Mazda 626 GSI Auto. How many people bought one of these back in the day? Because this would have been the equivalent of, like, in terms of price, of what, like a BMW 5 Series or the equivalent Audi or a... Not many people bought a Mazda 626 GSI Auto. But somebody did back in 1997, and boy, is it in good condition. And best of all, they were clearly a motorcyclist. And they signalled that to the other motorcyclists amongst us by putting stickers like that one for Classic Racer, which is a fine publication, and one round this side. Oh, he went to Gersten Down for the 50th celebration of what went on there in 2017. And a Ducati Corsa. Yeah. Now, the thing is, when you're on a bike and you see that, you know that that person's knows that you're there on a motorbike, unlike a lot of people driving around, idiots. So you think, I'll be all right, I can overtake that guy. He's not going to do anything daft. Owned by the vendor since 2001, always garaged during that time. The car is totally original, runs and drives as it should. There is some service history in the old MOTs to confirm the mileage, which is, what? Let me try and have a look. There's something wrong with the dashboard there. It's had to be screwed down. But this car is for sale. A usable, comfortable, affordable, 5-seater family car with loads of boot space. Nearly 30 years old, no reserve. The Mazda 626 2-litre auto. I'll tell you what would never happen if you bought that and you were driving along. You'd never see another one just like it coming in the opposite direction. It just wouldn't happen. They didn't sell many of them. They were expensive at the time. It was, you know, it was an expensive car with a high specification. But there's one. Where would you find another? Jaguar XK Executive. TDVI Auto. So this is a 2006 Jag XK Executive with the desirable all aluminium body. However, that may have caused some of this paint reaction, which we can see here, or it may not. It might just be on that side. The car drives well. It's got a clean, comfortable interior, which is in good condition. We can't open it. It's like a sort of light tan with all the wood and the aircon and all the stuff that you'd expect in there. Loads of room in the back. A very sophisticated, refined, uncomfortable place. Grace, space and pace. All of those things you'd expect from a Jag. The car drives well. It's got a stamped service history with MOTs performed by independent Jaguar specialists. The last one at 178,000 miles. It's got a current MOT valid until March next year. The vehicle is Cat D. The front wing requires paintwork. Yeah, I thought, hold on a minute, has this car got like loads of problems with the paintwork? No, it's this front wing. Something has gone on here. And I wonder what it is. Like scratches. I think a beast of some description, as my granddad would have said. A cat? A dog? Like that. But it's just that wing. And there's no damage to the metal, it's just the paint. Yeah, no reserve. 198,000 miles from new. That's going to be a bargain. I've got my eye on this one, because I love a Jag B. I think it's a bit of me. What do you think, camera person? Is this a bit of me? Could be, couldn't it? I'm of an age, so it could be. A Hi-Ace 1600. These were great vans back in the day. Anyone who had the van version of this would sing its praises because they were very reliable, they ran on next to nothing, easy to drive, and this, of course, is a camper conversion on the Toyota Hi-Ace van from 1975. Wow. It's 50-year-old. 50, 30, 20. Yeah, it's 50 years old. Maths never was my strong suit, but even I can work that out. A rare first gen Toyota Hi-Ace, 32,000 miles, less than 1,000 miles a year, powered by the sought-after 1.6 petrol engine. Maybe somebody might buy it for the engine, I don't know, but that'd be a shame. It runs and drives, it's got a strong history, including a recent service. We've got the Haynes manual, the owner's manual, and 26 MOT certificates going right up to 500 miles away ago. The exterior shows some surface rust. Yeah, you got some there, bit here, bit there. Nothing too terrible. The solid frame and good underbody add to its appeal. It's got an extendable roof. Yeah, so these clips go over and when you stop, you push that up and you can stand up inside. Instead of like crouching like that. You won't want to do that, would you? The appliances have not been tested. Oh, hold on, what's it got? It must have like a fridge and a cooker and stuff like that in the back. Yeah. Yeah, it's got all your luxuries back there. You've got a fridge and a sink and all that sort of stuff and a cooker. Mega. Right. So, you could get this or you could pay a fortune for a Volkswagen. Why not buck the trend? Why not be a bit different? Don't follow the herd. Get a Toyota instead. People go, what's that? Toyota? Yeah. Wow, that's early, isn't it? Yeah, 1975. It's 50 years old. no reserve. Great charm, it says here. I think that means me. But it says, a wasp in October? Away with you. In fact, the weather's glorious. Come on Saturday. We'll have a good day. Don't forget to register to bid online before you rock up, though. Get on the internet, Barron's, Manor Park. Get registered and get down here on Saturday. We start at 1 o'clock. Over there now. Now, earlier we showed you, or I showed you, well, the two of us, me and camera person, showed you a fantastic example of BMW's 8 Series. But they've been building cars like that for a long time. In fact, since 1970, when they built this, the BMW 2000 CS. This is a very rare right-hand drive. Look at that, right-hand drive. Example of BMW's elegant Neue Klasse Coupe, spoken like a native. I think you'll recognise there. That's right, a native of Lancashire. This was the precursor to the iconic E9 3-litre CS. It's registered ELN60J, offered as, I tell you what, it's solid. I've had old BMWs like this, and people, oh my God, it is so solid. I am shocked and surprised and shocked. It's grubby, it's been in storage. Somebody's taped the glass in there to stop it from breaking, and then they've taken it off. They've put the interior in a sort of ramshackle way, but what is amazing me is just how solid this car is. There's obviously a bit of a spoiler, or a bit of trim more than likely. I don't think we're in spoiler territory in 1970, are we? Steel wheels and the original hubcaps are there, but look at this. Look at this non-crispiness, right? A lot of people will realise 1970, 55 years ago, I'm going to do something brave. If you run your hand up the inside of there, with most cars of this vintage, you cut your hands open because they've started to go crispy. This one hasn't. Look at that. Look in there, if you can get in there. Look in there, look how solid this car is. All down here, the sills, it's all been done. It's either all been done or it's all not been done because it didn't need to be. And then obviously we've got, as it's a 2-litre, is it going to be a 4 rather than a 6? Or is it going to be a 6? It's hard to tell. Tell me in the comments. It says here, although requiring full restoration, no, I don't think it requires full restoration. It's more than halfway there. It's so solid. This is a strong foundation, yes, compared to many surviving examples, and there aren't many surviving examples of this car. The car's original registration is recorded. A replacement V5 will need to be applied for, like we said, ELN60J, that's the number. A rare and promising project for collectors seeking one of BMW's most stylish and historically significant. Look it up, the BMW 2000 CS, the Neue Klasse, the car that made BMW's reputation. Or was that the 02 series? Again, discussed down in the comments. I can't stress how solid this car is. 1970, you're thinking, well, if you have a look, honestly, it's ready to go in terms of the bodywork. Just clean it up. Obviously, the interior needs sorting. We don't know about the engine. £7,000 to £9,000. This is a great foundation for a relatively straightforward restoration because do you know what you can have with cars of this era, cars of this age? A completely unstraightforward restoration that tests your patience to breaking point and bankrupts you. This car won't do that. It's solid. Don't miss it. Let's have a look at motorbikes, because I like motorbikes, and we've got a couple in our sale. This is a 1954 Ariel 350 trials bike. So elegant. Look at that fuel tank there. Look at it. Because in trials, that's the one where you balance and you go up particularly vertiginous parts of Derbyshire and Yorkshire and Lancashire, where I'm from. It generally happens up there, although it happens all over the UK. Weirdly, I was the BBC's trials correspondent in the 1990s and went all over Europe. Trials seems to be popular, or did then, in Spain, Japan, and the UK, and that was it. And nobody really explained why. Now, trials is much more popular these days than it even was in the 90s, although the Spanish do seem to dominate. Once upon a time, we dominated with riders like, well, Sammy Miller, whose motorcycle museum down in the New Forest is a must visit if you're into motorbikes, like I am. This is from '54, a bike that transports you back to the 50s, classic lightweight model. It features a child's frame. It's got the lightweight mudguards, great paintwork, minor rust on the frame. Both tyres are in good condition. It's registered as historic. Comes with a workshop manual, a book on Ariel motorcycles, all the MOTs and tax discs, invoices for previous work, a well-documented, appealing example of a classic British motorcycle from 1954, 2,000 to 3,000 pounds is the estimate. Aprilia in the corner. If you were restricted by law to a 125cc motorcycle, well, in 2005, it didn't get much better than this. It's an Aprilia RS125, factory fresh, and guess what? This one has got 3 miles on the clock. This is the full power, 27 brake horsepower RS125, never officially sold in the UK because I don't think they would have been allowed to sell it in the UK and let learners rock around on it. It's got electric start. It's got the lion's head livery and the black and red paintwork, which reflected Aprilia's World Championship winning, was it MotoGP back then? It would have been, yeah, in 125s. The bike has no documents. All the original keys are present. It's a unique opportunity to acquire an unused, untouched example of this bike. As we say, no documents. This bike was never sold officially in the UK. Somebody's brought it here. We've got the keys, so it can be fired up and it's done 3 miles. I would imagine those have been done pushing it around, pushing it in and out of vans, moving it around 3 miles. £3,000 to £5,000, a unique opportunity. Again, we're always doing that here at Barron's, at Manor Park, giving you unique opportunities like that BMW New Class Coupe over there, which is amazingly solid. And this virtually 0 mile unused Aprilia from 20 years ago. That's it. That rounds up the preview for this, our October sale. Don't forget to register to bid. Best of all, if you come down, if you can, on Saturday to Barron's in Southampton. We start at 1 o'clock, but don't forget to register.